Get clients tip number 1 is personal networking. Tell everyone you know about your business. Be sure to tell all of your current and former colleagues, friends, and family about your business and ask them to spread the word about you. I know this tip sounds like kind of a no-brainer, but stick with me. There's a little bit more to it than you might think. Getting the word out is key, and it is the most important thing because first, people are going to hire somebody that they know, and second, they're going to hire someone that they know knows. You can only reach so many people directly when you're dealing with your colleagues, your friends, and your family members, but it's amazing how many other people can be reached through those contacts. Getting the word out is kind of like that old Breck commercial. She'll tell 2 friends, and then she'll tell 2 friends, and so on. It's exponential. A couple of ideas about how to get the word out. Don't forget your gym or exercise group. All of my jazzercise friends know what I do. Definitely talk about it on your personal Facebook page. And don't forget all the family events. Bring your business cards. Let everyone know. You know they want to support you. Believe it or not, your former work colleagues and bosses are great people to tell too. Call them up. Take them to lunch. They may be in or near the same industry, and they're already familiar with how awesome you are. They love to talk you up. The real key to this, though, is not just talking about your business, but projecting confidence. If you're anything like me, you might feel a little bit weird about tooting your own horn and talking about your business everywhere, but believe me, it is definitely worth your while. I know it's challenging, but just try to remember, there are people out there who want your help and need your help. They just need help finding you. Tip number 1, tell everyone you know, otherwise known as personal networking. It's how I got my first client and how I've gotten a lot of clients since then. Get clients tip number 2. Join a local business networking group like BNI or LaTip. In these groups, you're focused on sharing about your business with each other and also swapping leads and solid referrals with one another. The cost is fairly minimal, and the groups usually meet for breakfast or lunch at a restaurant. They normally allow one type of business per meeting time or group. So if you get into the club, you're the only bookkeeper if they have a spot open for you. Oftentimes, you can go as a guest of someone or just as a drop-in, see what it's like, see if it's something for you. I was a member of BNI. I believe it cost me about $400 a year, and we met every week at a restaurant for lunch. I got a lot of business from that group, and I still get clients from the people that I met in that group. So it was definitely worth my while. There are a lot of other business-related groups that you can join that may not be specifically for the purpose of passing referrals, but where you'll meet a lot of great business people in your community, like Toastmasters, Rotary, meetups, Elks, Lions, any type of business-related club. I'm a member of both Toastmasters and the Nevada County Online Marketers Meetup Group, and I joined those to learn specific skills, which I've learned, but I've also met a lot of business people in the community. Get clients tip number 2, join groups, otherwise known as business referral networking. Get clients tip number 3 is interesting and maybe not something you ever thought of. I recommend volunteering your services to a nonprofit organization. A great way to build your credibility and your referral list is to offer to do the books for a nonprofit for free or at a reduced cost. You can also campaign to be elected as their treasurer or to get on their board of directors, and or even help their current treasurer or their current board make sense out of the financial information that they already have. In my experience, there are a lot of nonprofit organizations that can really use the help of a professional bookkeeper. I've been volunteering for a local horse rescue organization called Purpose Ranch for many years. They really appreciate my help. I've gotten some great experience, exposure, and I've met some wonderful people. I love working for nonprofits. Not only do I get to showcase my talents, which are much appreciated, to the board members, who are usually other small business owners and important people in the community, but I get to feel really good about what I'm doing. Get clients tip number 3, volunteer for a local nonprofit. My tip number 4 for getting clients is to write articles for a local publication or newsletter. If you specialize in bookkeeping for a particular industry, I recommend that you write something for the local publication that caters to people in that industry. For instance, I specialize in construction accounting, and quite a few years back, I started writing articles for the local Nevada County Contractors Association newsletter. I wrote the articles because the publisher of the newsletter, the executive director, needed more material for her newsletter. I don't think you'll have any trouble finding publications out there that are anxious to print your interesting articles. The amazing thing about this is that I really honestly had no idea if people would be interested in my articles. I wasn't even sure if they would read or notice them, but to my great surprise, I got tons of business from these articles and great notoriety in the community as a local expert. Absolutely one of the best marketing moves I ever made. Even if you don't specialize in a particular industry, you can try writing articles for other organizations like the Chamber of Commerce. Sometimes it's hard to think of what to write about. How-tos or advice related to small business or bookkeeping is a good place to start. Make sure that your article makes you look smart and is helpful to your potential customers. Of course, these days, when we talk about writing articles, we may not be talking about writing for a print publication, but possibly an e-newsletter or a guest blog post. Either way, you should turn all of your articles into your own blog post and post them on your own blog. If you don't know much about this, you can learn a lot about it in The Brilliant Bookkeeper Starring You. Tip number 4 on how to get clients: write and publish helpful articles. Get clients tip number 5, put your social networking to work. I'm going to be honest with you, I'm not a social networking genius, master, or expert, but you really don't need to be. Networking site I want to talk about is LinkedIn. LinkedIn is very specifically a business social networking site, and the most important that you get involved in. Very similar to Facebook, it has this news feed where you can share things with your connections, like blog articles, interesting articles that you want to repost, and things about you and your business. The newsfeed is great, but where I've really found the most valuable connections is in my groups. There are hundreds, probably thousands of groups on LinkedIn that you can join. I've joined groups about accounting, QuickBooks, and bookkeeping. There are a lot of different types of groups, but in general, groups are not a place where you spam people or just talk about yourself. They're a place for making connections. The best way to make connections in groups is to participate in the conversations within the group. Let's take a look at some of the conversations in the accounting technology group. You'll notice there are a lot of questions. LinkedIn has become my #1 go-to place for asking questions. I get the most and most valuable feedback by asking questions on LinkedIn about things that I don't even know who to ask. Here's Scott. He's asking if anyone knows of a good company for hosting QuickBooks. And you can see here that he's got 30 comments, mostly important, valuable, experience-based feedback. It's a great place for you to showcase your expertise and help people out, as well as get information about things that you need help with. If you're anywhere between the ages of 8 and 80, you probably have a personal Facebook page. But I also encourage you to set up a page just for your business. Here's my QuickBooks Now Facebook page, and I use this to post things that are relevant to business, bookkeeping, and so forth. I don't post personal things on my business page. It's great advertising, and it's completely free, and it's quite easy. All you need to do is here where it says Pages, click More, then click Create a Page. It'll walk you through the process step by step. Really, really easy. Of course, there are lots of other social networking sites, including Twitter and Pinterest. I would just say, don't get too overwhelmed. Do what works for you, and don't feel like you have to spend a huge amount of time on it. but having a presence on at least one or two of these sites makes for a great free marketing tool. Tip number 5, put social networking to work.